Hello, my name is Elijah Wells, and today's review is the Sam Raimi and Marvel's new movie, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Taking place after the events of No Way Home, Doctor Strange is getting back in routine of how things are doing in post-blip, when suddenly America Chavez comes into his life and says that she's being chased by a lot of people and that she can basically travel through different multiverses with very little consequences. Upon consulting Wanda about the Wonderverses, she takes great offense at it and becomes the Scarlet Witch and threatens to suck her life force, and so she becomes more and more powerful as she is. So, Doctor Strange and America Chavez do a lot of multi-universe travel to just stay of her reach. This being a Sam Raimi movie, whose previous movies included the Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire, but what is really prominent in this film is that he's a horror director. More specifically, he directed the original Evil Dead trilogy, not the remake right there from 2013, which he did actually produce, but the original he directed. Yeah, I think the qualities of both these franchises definitely shine through in this movie. Like the opening 20 minutes where Doctor Strange fights this massive demon octopus. It's very, really reminiscent of, a Spider-Man movie, particularly when he directed that from, I think, 2001 or 2 to 2007. It definitely felt like I had a great sense of nostalgia, a great sense of fun from watching that. And also from the campy horror that is the Evil Dead stuff. I really like. Particularly, there was this one little section of the film where Wanda or Scarlet Witch is pretty much has entered the temple of Doctor Strange, and then the building almost shifts around her, then enters into this mirror dimension, and she pokes her finger through the mirrors, and it goes through like water. I kind of really like that scene, the ambience of that scene. I really like the kind of this horror stillness of it. It kind of has a little bit of a horror edge to it. A lot of his films that he's known for, particularly the hospital scene from Spider-Man 2. That actually works great alone as a horror movie as well. The movie, of course, has ruffled some feathers, to say the least, saying that's the most violent MCU movie. Of course, yes, Marvel has done, Deadpool, they have done the Punisher films, but something in the conundrum of that is the MCU, yes, it is definitely one of the more, if not the most violent stuff Marvel, the cinematic universe has done, and also not necessarily the goriest or the most gross. Of course, a couple of weeks ago or last week, I saw Northman, which had someone's face being eaten off or someone's head butted in to the point the head caves in. I think that there was some pretty unexpected violence, like impalements and someone being straight up crushed by a statue and eye gouging. I have definitely seen a lot worse PG-13 when it comes to violence, when violence might be has a bit more of an edge to it. Maybe something I don't know, the interrogation scene from Dark Knight, which I thought was, is a great scene. It can be repurposed for an R rating, or knowing that I'm British and we use a different rating system UPGs 12, 15, 18s. If we're using the 12 system, definitely the Japanese film Ran, where it's basically a whole army of people in a pool of blood, and arrows and chopped limbs and all that. For a 12-rated movie, so I've definitely seen worse coming from that age group, even though Doctor Strange is rated 12. And of course, the movie has the Illuminati, which is a nod to from one of the Marvel comic series that they have done. Not the meme that everyone did back at 2015 or 16, or the very secret cult that must be fake, given how much it's been overexposed as a secret cult. It has John Krasinski as Richard Reed, also Mr. Fantastic, and that lady as Captain Marvel, Professor X or Patrick Stewart as Professor X. and as well as that one guy from Inhumans, and I've got the other one, and of course there's Agent Carter from of course the first Captain America film, and as well as the What If series. And you would expect they would fight it off, they'll make a massive team up or make a prominent appearance in film, but no, they get wiped out like a superhero in Invincible. Like, I kid you not, they're only in the film for like 10-15 minutes before they all get killed. Even like Patrick Stewart for Professor X, even though, if I remember correctly, he died in Logan, which doesn't make sense the more I think about it, but here we are. And they killed Mr. Fantastic in the film. I can't wait for the MCU's Fantastic Four now. It's going to be a 2-hour-long funeral for him. Unless, of course, he comes back alive, or it's a different universe, or it's a prequel. I don't know. This is where I can make some criticism now. Even though the movie's visuals are amazing, I like the music in the movie. And I've also spoken, like, I really like his use of horror, or Sam Raimi's use of horror in the movie. But I think this is where I kind of want to slow down my praise on the movie. Like, I kind of feel like the story is definitely really muddy. Like, it can be a little bit hard to follow, and also the movie kind of like detours from one storyline to the other. Like, the movie kind of follows like two storylines, like Doctor Strange and America Chavez like running away from Wanda, and Wanda try and get all the answers to be the all-powerful being that she is. And also touching on WandaVision that came out like a year earlier or this year. Like, I'm kind of losing track of Marvel at this rate now. Yeah, I think the story is a little bit more muddier and a bit more messier than Marvel standards, but yeah. And also, I think there was another criticism that caused a bit of commotion, like the inclusion of a lesbian couple. Like, America Chavez's mothers are lesbians, like two mums, but they're only in the movie for like 1 minute top until they get shipped away into some portals things. Like I think this is like not doing that really justice. Like, I remember back in Eternals, like they had like 2 scenes dedicated to a gay couple. Like, I thought that was a step in the right direction. I think Marvel kind of took a step backwards. And also, my sister, who'd watched the movie with me, did somewhat recontextualized it, saying that, oh, must be a planet for a woman, or something, or a woman-only planet, or something. Like, I think it could be, like, recontextualized, so not a victory lap for the LGBT. The movie's visuals are, again, like the first film, are really brilliant, and used a lot of, like, architect bending and a lot of time bending, and also again like the Into the Spider-Verse, it really hops into like each and every surreal universe there is, like Paint, comic book, like the dystopian one, the utopian one, just any like surreal ones. Like this was actually a really fun sequence, and also one where he just turns into a cube, like, or just shatters into like some Rubik's Cube substance. And I think the other criticism I just thought about now, like, I feel like it didn't like mention any or barely made any mention to what happened at No Way Home. Like he almost let every Marvel character that's related to Spider-Man into that universe. Like, and if I remember correctly, either people were like, "Oh, you did that? Oh, okay," or they mention at all, like, "Oh, you saved Spider-Man." Okay. Yeah, I think that was kind of how far I went. I kind of wish it was explored a little bit further, to be honest. But again, I like the horror and visuals in that film. For Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, even though I kind of wish some storylines were explored a lot more further, more clearer, and had a less messy and all over the place structure, I did at the end of the day really enjoy the movie. I like the visuals, I like the music in the movie. I feel like Benedict Cumberbatch really did well in that movie. Even though I kind of wish there was more exploration into the character arc of America Chavez in the movie. Again, I feel like this is a very honourable addition to Sam Raimi's film collection, being of the Evil Dead films and the Spider-Man films. It almost feels like a love child between these both films. Like, it has the whimsy and the charm of his Spider-Man movies, and the horror and the atmosphere of Evil Dead films. Even though the tone, again, it transitions really well. Sorry, just had a lot to eat. It never gets inconsistent, but what really let it down was the storylines that got a little too messy in Marvel standards, and some storylines that should have really got a lot more further than it should in that movie. So I am feeling a 6 to a 7 out of 10. Like, this is a fine film to watch for MCU. Like, if you're an MCU purist, then this is gonna be a good film for you. For me, not the best, not the worst, but it's still a fine film. What do you think of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? Like this video, comment what you thought down below, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to my channel. And this is Elijah Wells, and bye.